Well, Heidi ho there. It's Thursday, January 7th, 2021. It's already been a really eventful year, hasn't it? I'm sure everybody was just thinking about college basketball yesterday and nothing else, right? I didn't watch a single swish. I saw nothing. It was quite a busy day. But of course, because I wanted to get as far away from Washington D.C. as possible. I was not even accepting of being in the state of Virginia. I insisted on going to West Virginia. I was like, I'm getting the hell out of here. George Washington's brother, actually, I think his name was Charles or whatever, set up like Charlestown in West Virginia. So I hung out with George Washington's brother today. I got the hell out of Dodge for a while, and that means I made a bet. And you know what I did? I bet one of my crazy round robins. Go watch my video about round robin calculator if you don't know what this means. I made a bet on 7 teams. These are the 7 teams that I bet on. And if you look at what happened to them, see if that allows me to paste over here. Is it going to allow me to paste? Nah, the answer's not going to do that. Well, the 7 teams that I took were Butler, Woodford, Xavier, Chattanooga, Louisville, Richmond, South Carolina. I decided that from this list, which by the way, it looks like it went about 21-5. My sheet in Google says 23-3, but scores or something got changed because I updated in the middle of the day, which I'm going to talk about a little later in this video. This is going to be real technical. The reason why is the Excel file goes out now. You subscribe to this thing for the whole month of January. It's $50. You get this file every day. You're going to see today's games. You're going to see how I updated. You're going to be able to mess with this thing. It's very, very powerful. So I want to talk a little bit about how you use it so that I don't just have to constantly answer questions on the email all the time. It's just like, hey, go to this video, watch how to do this. So well, this is good still. This is really good. A lot of green here, a lot of wins. I always say, and what I'm going to talk about yesterday is I said pick the home teams because we usually do better, and we went we would of course go 4-1 away because I'm such a douchebag. Um, uh, and we go 17-4 at home. Of course, the pick of the day loses, being Woford, because I have the kiss of death. If I say anything, I pick it. Look at that, wins, and I pick out the loss every single time. I did it the day before. It's the story of my life. And so, all right, so that's why I built the algorithm to tell me what to do. It's the whole point of this thing. Is this thing that I built teaches me how to bet to win. That's the point of this. Point is, I made a bet and I won my bet, even though I lost the game. I lost the pick of the day. I did lose with Wofford. They were one that I had, Wofford. I had them lost, but everybody else won. Butler, Xavier, Chattanooga, Louisville, Richmond, South Carolina. They all won. Those were the lines. And the reason why was as I was looking at this list here, I was like, well, where are the games with the reasonable lines, right? If you're looking at just your home teams, you'd like to have them as high on this list as possible. But if there aren't any good lines up here, like I probably didn't take Nickel State because it was minus 370. That was just too much. See, we can zoom in if you can actually see what's going on. I of course took Wofford because they were minus 107. I took Xavier because they were less than minus 300, so I took something. I didn't take this. Oh, look at this big favorite, Syracuse losing. And even bigger favorite. What happened to Virginia at Wake Forest? They only put up 45 points. They lost 45-77 to a team, Wake Forest, that had only played 3 games before that, or 4 games, I guess. I don't know. That sucks if you had Virginia. I mean, that's awful. What else? So the reasons why I took those teams, their lines were reasonable. They were all down here, right? Chattanooga, Richmond, Louisville, South Carolina, Butler. They all crushed it. Why did I stay away from Northwestern State? You know why I did? If you watched the video yesterday, you'll see, and when we messed around with our home bump and how much we bumped the home teams, you can see that actually we had Incarnate Word beating them at plus 280. Now, because they're on the road, we never advise it because I'm like, no, the algorithm's always saying these teams that are down here with low power percentages, with low margins, they're not winning, right? And Incarnate Word, I think only had 5 games, or how many games did they have? No, they had 7 games. So it looked like the algorithm was trying to say Incarnate Word even after the bump. Like if you bring the bump only up to like 7%. The bump is somewhere between 5 and 10%. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in there. I think closer to 10% actually. But in this situation, Incarnate Word loses it right at about 6 or 7% is where this game flips. But the line was so distorted that it was obvious that you don't take Northwestern State because they were minus 330. So for them to be at a margin so far down here, when I was talking about the video yesterday, I actually came up with 3 games I liked. And the games were, was it before the bump I was looking at it? I know it was South Carolina. I said the parlay was South Carolina and, I wouldn't have said Butler. It was South Carolina and, how were we looking at it? Yeah, I think I looked at it this way and that's how I figured it out. It was South Carolina and Richmond, I think. I don't know. I'm all lost. Things keep changing around. That's why it gets difficult to. Point is it was obvious looking at it yesterday not to take Northwestern State, and of course they end up losing. And you could, I mean, Incarnate Word plus 7.5 was something I thought about doing on that wager. Anyway, so I see stuff just keeps changing all the time. All right, so what else I want to talk about yesterday before I get into today? The spread cover. I think all right. So in order to look at the spread thing, we have to open this up. And we have to sort this by spread cover descending, which means, according to our point projections, we thought that this spread cover number being really positive and always above 0, you actually have to filter this for spread cover above 0, is what you really should do. Is you're supposed to filter both of these. This is what I was talking about a few videos ago about how we would filter all these games so that we knew what to bet. I was saying do greater than margins greater than 0, meaning we think the team's going to win the game, and the point projections consistently do this, and it's 5 and 8, and it's a lot of losing down here. I mean, it's still not working. What this is telling me is point projections are still not working when it comes to spread. This looks like gibberish. When you see off patterns and like no, just it actually looks crappy. So it actually looks bad. So I don't even need to, like I said, I haven't had time to do all that work, to do all the programming. It's a lot of programming to get point projections to work right automatically. I guess it's not working yet. So don't take our point projections too seriously. Take our margin seriously, because the margin kicks butt. The margin is something I tested for years. That's what this is. The margin is all this stuff, calculating off the team standings. Like, the margin is legit. I like the margin. That's why we have all these wins over here. So, that all being said, 7.5, 8 minutes in, if you're still with me, boom, let's look at today. There are some games today. Do I have any filters on? I don't even know. Value filter should just be margin greater than 0. That's fine. Okay. The games we have today are, and of course this will change tomorrow, and I will change the Google Sheet to show, I will change, what's going on here? I'll change the Google Sheet to show the new updated stats and stuff in the morning when different stat sources update their data. Okay. With a 9% bump, there are 25 games. Wow. We have a lot of home teams in a row. Look at that. Look at the chunks of that. That's pretty almost. Okay, well, what's the story here? Well, I always say, I had one of my friends ask me yesterday, you had Fordham on the top of the list. He said, a couple days ago, you had Fordham. Where did we have Fordham somewhere? He's like, you had Fordham losing on the top of the list. We don't have them there anymore, I guess. But he was like, why did you have it there? Why were they on the top of the list? But you said don't bet them. And I was like, well, they hadn't played any games. And I said in the video, well, teams that haven't played any games, the algorithm doesn't work. If it doesn't have stats, it doesn't work. So anybody who hasn't played games shows up in these slicers. That means don't care about anybody who's played less than 5 games. Everybody's got 5 games or more. You don't want to look at the other games anyway. So I'm just removing them. So in that sense, there are now 23. 23 games, ton of home up top. Is there anything of a reasonable line? Okay, Morehead State at Tennessee Tech is fairly reasonable. our point projections are all screwed up. But as I was mentioning, my point projections don't listen to me, and my point projections right now, they're not working. I need to do work on that. I don't have time to do it still right now. Southern Methodist at Cincinnati. These are all home, right? This is good. So you got some reasonable colored lines all the way here. If you look at just the home games, like I did today, you wind up with these. If you're looking at your like 5, 6, 7, 8 team round robin, not a parlay, but a round robin where because you might lose one. Wisconsin's at a bad line, but they're a very good team and they're at home. So they're almost a gimme. I don't want to say anything, but they probably are. Both these teams play 11 teams. All right. So is there anything? I mean, that's 9 teams right there. Eastern Illinois is getting this 9% bump. So if you re-look at this at a 0% bump, just to make sure that I kind of want the team on both times. In this sense, you've only got 7 teams that are positive here. They're still all home teams, so it doesn't matter about the bump. That means they'd be on here anyway. So these are the 7 strongest. And these lines are not that bad. I mean, they're all together. Morehead State, Southern Methodist, Wisconsin, Hofstra, Eastern Kentucky, Tennessee State. Tennessee. Did we want to go against Tennessee? Or is it different Tennessee Tech? I don't even know. There's too many Tennessees. How many Tennessees we got? Let's figure that out. Let's open up all the games again. Let's see here. Am I imagining things? Was there a Tennessee somewhere? What are we sorting by? We're sorting by margin descending. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud. I thought there, all right, maybe I'm just misremembering stuff. All right, so no, it wasn't this. It was Tennessee Tech. There's Tennessee Tech, Tennessee State, Tennessee Martin. I'm not imagining things. Morehead State was a decent lineup here. They weren't one, or were they? Let me look at that again. Sorry. This is all the work I'm doing on college basketball today, guys. That's why I'm just blabbering here. Yeah, Morehead State was almost the start of this, but Merrimack has no. Wait, what is this? This is Merrimack has no games played, so you can't look at that. That's why it was good that I filtered them out originally, so you wouldn't accidentally bet on them. If you just look at this list and you don't know what you're looking at, you don't understand that Merrimack is saying don't listen to the algorithm here. So it's these teams, and that's with no bump. With the 9% bump, who joins the list? Northern Colorado, Eastern Illinois, Long Island. So these teams have a chance, and you actually get 4.5 with Eastern Illinois. So that's a doable pick right there. Because supposedly with the bump, we actually think they're going to win. Because when you flip this around and look at the away teams without the bump, I know I keep bumping back and forth, but it really matters to see why this matters. This is no bump. Well, we think Montana State, Murray State, St. Francis, PA even lose. So USC maybe loses to Arizona. Like that's pushing it. That's close. But Arizona is favored too. Interesting. Yeah, because they're at home. Anyway, I could talk forever, but there's going to be updates tomorrow too. So, is there a pick of the day you guys want me to curse by naming it? What would it be? Well, Northern Arizona has screwed me twice. So if I said Idaho State was the pick of the day, they'd have to lose because they're on the road. So let's pretend, everybody, that I'm like Idaho's the pick of the day because it actually kind of is. They're the first thing. It's at plus 125. If you sort this thing by the best lines, meaning money line descending. Best lines are Montana State, Southern USC, Idaho State, St. Francis. So this Idaho State, yeah, Northern Arizona has screwed me twice. And Idaho State, actually the same game I think beat us. I think we took Idaho State once against Northern Arizona and Northern Arizona beat them. I'm pretty sure that already happened. So why wouldn't that happen again? It's funny. That's what I was thinking would be the pick of the day. But it could be could be Montana State at Northern Colorado, which at no bump is winning, but after the bump is not going to be on there. Yeah, they're gone after the bump, so you don't want to do that. Eastern Illinois still stays on here. Oh, because they're home. And they're plus 155. Wait a minute, that's not bad. They're only on there because of the bump, but they are at home. I do like that plus 4.5. So, all right, anyway, that's kind of how you do some browsing with this file. I'm going to set it back while I send it out to you guys tonight like this. I'm going to set up like this, descending by margin, because when when the scores go in here, you like to see this, when this thing's going down, you like to see green wins in this. Did they win the game? In a perfect world, this team wins every single game. And I'm sure we will have a day when we win every single game. It probably won't be a day with 30 games in it, but it'll be a day with 8, 10 games. One day we'll probably hit all of them. And it'll happen, and that's what you're trying to get. And so doing this by margin, it does that. If you don't do it by margin, you start to get other different things that are doing different stuff. So that's why I'm going to leave it in this format. I feel like it's the best to look at. I know many of you are betting off the spread. I'm just not ready with the point projections, so don't expect much out of them. But expect that the difference in margin is going to somehow be the difference in the disparity between the two teams in the game. All right, guys. That's a 16-minute college basketball video at 4 in the morning because I've been working all night and I'm not done. I've got more work to do after this. So good luck, everybody. May all of our picks be doing not what Idaho State's probably going to do and choke, right? You know that's ready. Pick of the day is Idaho State. Why? Because I already lost this game, I think, last week. And the algorithm says do it again, and they're on the road, and they're the first one on this list with a good line. All reasons that the Stars should align against us, and this team will lose. And that's my pick. My losing pick of the day is Idaho State.